What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today I'd like to show you the 2021 F150 and the differences between the three models I have: the STX, XLT, and Lariat. All very common trim levels. Don't happen to have Platinum and King Ranch or limited on the lot at the moment. We'll get that when it's available. We're going to go from left to right and, in order by the trim, ascending. So we'll start up front with the STX. I'm going to move over there. So the difference, what's the difference when you're looking from the outside between an STX and an XLT? Well, for starters, just from the eye test, you can see these XLTs in the front. They have an optional LED headlight with the fog lamps. Kind of looks reminiscent to the 250s. If you can see here, you just have the halogens with the STX. So the STX is built on an XL platform, or the XL trim, I should say. And it's just we used to say it's like a sport appearance trim. That's what we're used to saying, because you'll get some 20-inch wheels and a dark black grille in the front. And when we're looking at the front, there's a few things I can tell right from the front, about this F150. When I'm looking at the opening in the front here in the grille, you see there's a little opening. That means it has to be an EcoBoost. If it's covered in the front, then it's going to be one of the V8s. Additionally, what I could tell from looking at the front, I see some hooks. Kind of hard to tell because of my lighting, but there's some hooks in the front. If you have hooks in the front, automatically this is a 4x4. So from the get-go, I know this is a 4x4 with the EcoBoost. Now, what EcoBoost, really, you don't know until you either look at the window sticker or pop the hood. We're going to slowly walk around this. There'll be slight differences with XLT and STX in the back. So you see the XLTs have some slightly different taillights. I guess they're a little bit more plain Jane with the STX. But you can really build on these trims and kind of, they're like Lego sets. You can really make them how you want. So this one happens to have a spray and bed liner. You have backup sensors, a backup camera. You see 4x4 on the side. Putting some stuff down so I can actually see what's going on. Now, well, what's going on with the key, John? So I'm gonna try and hold it up here. So your key, standard key fob. No push button start or anything like that. No keyless entry. So that's gonna be a difference right from the get-go as well. As I walk up here. So you're gonna have plastic door handles. They're not painted or anything. As well as your trim right here is a more like hard plastic. Once you move over to an XLT, and god darn, this light is tough, you'll see you get the body color with the door handles. You'll get this gloss black trim. Now I'm really getting carried away, but I'm going to get over here. And you'll see you also get the keyless entry pad on the side of the door here. So you can customize a 5-digit code to lock and unlock this thing. And that makes it super easy. A lot of Ford people, they can't live without that stuff. So, immediately, if that's important to you, you might just flip right to XLT. The keypad stuff you can always get after the fact as well. Now, STX, getting back to the main story here. STX, they've done such a great job with this redesign with the 21s. This whole front just doesn't look any bit recognizable from the previous generation, at least if you know what you're looking at. So little bits and bobs. You got an American flag here. all the trim here on the door just looks vastly better. If I can get it in focus, just looks like another age for Ford, really. Now STX, they won't have any power or anything like that. It's something a customer had noticed for me yesterday, actually, was that you can't crank up the seats. So on the STX, you can't crank up the seat if you want to lift it. So if shorter drivers, that might be a problem. So maybe XLT. Front dash, I mean, the whole steering wheel just looks mighty better. Now, normally your screen doesn't look like a rainbow, that's just my camera. But this whole dash, they call it Sync 4. It's very similar to the previous generation, the Sync 3. Just, you know, a little bit updated. It's very responsive. It's not like you're fighting technology when you use this stuff. This one has kind of like a trial navigation built in. If you buy the option called connected navigation, then you'll have, you know, navigation for the life of the vehicle. This will just be there for about 3 months or so. So if you want that type of stuff, you know, another reason to bump up to a higher trim level. Ford just has a way of doing that to you guys. So over here, you'll see how I mentioned before, you have 4x4. So these are your 4x4 modes, your 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low. This knob is used to change your drive modes, and you could do that on the fly. So as you turn it, it actually has a super satisfying feel. Yeah, very satisfying. And you'll kind of see up here on the dash as I turn it, so slippery, deep snow, sand, mud, rut. Now I can go all the way over the side, normal, tow haul, eco, and sport. So they'll all adjust the throttle response, the shifting, all that fun stuff, and it makes a difference. It makes a difference. You'll feel a difference immediately, and you can do it while you're driving. Other little bits and bobs up here, you can see just your normal gauges up front, and then built in a lot of nice standard stuff that you might like. So safety stuff, just Ford has to comply, and so does everyone else. You got lane keeping here, so if you drift in and out of the lanes, as long as you're going over 40 miles an hour, the steering wheel will actually vibrate, kind of nudge you back. So really cool stuff there. All this stuff is redesigned up here, a little extra storage. Ford loves you with your storage. Now, what is this button? If you could see it. I could see it. It's a little A with a line, a little squiggle circle around it. Well, what that is auto start stop. It's basically in all new vehicles now. It's meant to save you gas mileage. Gosh, I cannot get that in focus to save my life. So that's in everything nowadays. You can't get away from it. There's also a little camera button. So this one has an optional, you know, camera in there. Well, actually, I shouldn't even say optional. It comes with it. So you got a camera in there. You can pop up. You can't just open up this camera screen when you're driving. You know, you have to be going, I believe, like 5 miles an hour or lower. You do have some buttons on the screen to control some stuff, like your sensors. You can turn them on and off. Of course, on the top, hazards and traction control. Now down here, you can see your standard kind of controls, but I mean, the way Ford does it, I don't want to get on my high horse, but I think they make everything just so much more, you know, ergonomic, if that makes sense. Just everything, the way they put stuff, it just it makes sense. You know, so you got USB-C there, a regular USB, a 12 volt, and then you also got a little cubby right there that opens up. Very nice. Now, what else is going on here? When you look up, you know, future John will get better with this stuff. All right, I just want to get this started here. But you see, you have some lighting controls up there. I mean, just another, you know, you just compare it to the previous gen, and it's just a lot nicer, a lot more put together. I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna walk around the other side, because if not, I'm just gonna smack the door. We're gonna get another look. I mean, clean truck. Back seat. So in the back, I know these cabs are like the best of the best. They're comfy as hell. You can fold the seats up if the seat belts weren't in. Be prepared. You can fold the seats up super easy. Now these STXs, they'll have a vinyl. I shouldn't even have turned that. They'll have a vinyl flooring, which is super easy to clean. So think of these STXs when I'm talking about compare and contrast. You know, a little bit more utilitarian, a little bit more, you know, work friendly. You know, so vinyl flooring, cloth seats. I mean, you get a lot of nice equipment, but you might not be paying for stuff that you might not care about. You got some AC in the back, a 12 volt, another USB, and another regular USB. So, I mean, super useful truck. And when we're talking about engines, this got the, this has the 3.5. So this is a twin turbo V6. Block is right off of the Raptor. So, I mean, this thing can absolutely move, and it can tow, and it can, you know, obviously it can haul, like everything. So, you know, I think they're rated with these new ones, they're around 13 or 14,000 for towing, 4x4. And as you add options, it kind of does affect the rating. But I mean, these are the best of the best, and this thing drives like, you know, a Rolls Royce for a truck. So if you don't, you know, back to the heavy hitters, what's the difference between STX and this XLT right next to it? The vinyl flooring, all right? It won't have, you know, the LED, you know, lights. It won't have the keyless entry. It won't have the remote start. But it has all the other stuff that you'd use with the truck. You know, if you actually just need the truck, this is the guy. Now, once you want to see what's the new, the new is with these XLTs and up, really, as far as like interior bits and bobs. So I'm just kind of like holding this at the vest. So here we go. Catch my breath here. So XLT, what's going on here? What is this guy? So this is a sport XLT, and if we remember what we learned today in class, kids, this is not a 4x4. You know, no hooks in the front, so this is not a 4x4. And we're looking in the front, we see there's an opening right under those sensors, or you might not see it because of the lighting, but there's an opening under that grill right there. And that means it has to be an EcoBoost. You know, they need a little bit more airflow, I guess, with the EcoBoost. So that's just something we've noticed here on the lot. LED lights. I mean, these are new LED lights that they just added, you know, this year for these F150s. They look mean. All right. Now the sports. This trim is a sport. It'll have that darker front grille. Also have these wheels. God, get a good focus, John. Let me try the other side. All right, now walking around, you'll see off the cuff sensors in the front. You'll have the little sport logo on the back instead of the STX, you know, a little denomination there. Flex it if you want. Now I'm going to try and pull the keys out for this guy. 84355, talking to myself. Yeah, so I didn't even show you the bed for the STX, but XLT is going to be that exact same, but way better. So you can see it does have the slow release in the bed. Now this one doesn't have any like crazy fancy doodads in there, so you just have a drop-in plastic liner, which is actually not as nice as that STX that has the spray-in liner. You can barely tell. But you have the box lighting here that you can turn on. Really easy. And, you know, not to bore you, but if you don't know already, what separates these F150s from the rest of these guys is, you know, the construction. So these are aluminum, they don't rust. So all this stuff on the outside, the bed, all this stuff that you hit, all right, it's all aluminum. It doesn't rust. It saved Ford a ton of weight when they came out with the previous generation of this truck. And then, of course, they reinvested that weight into the platform, made it stronger and better than ever. Other little doodads in this bed. You see, you have a little light here, so you can actually project some light onto the ground. Very cool. All your trailer setups and stuff. Sensors. Don't forget, soggy guys. Now I'm going to turn this guy on. So looking at the keys are going to be different with these STXs and the XLTs. The XLTs will have like a remote fob, and I'm just trying to get it free here. It looks exactly like this. You know, so on there you have unlock, lock, the remote start, which is that ×2 button. You have the tailgate release, which is also a ×2 button, and then your whatever alarm. Oh, don't get too fast. So how does the keyless entry work, John? Put your hand inside, the door will automatically unlock. There's a little sensor, and then you can rest your hand on this little lock icon, and it locks it up. I mean, you feel like a badass every time you get in and out of this thing. And if you really wanted to get crazy, you can leave your key inside the truck the whole time of ownership, you know, and then just use that key or that pad to get in and out. Now here's where shit is gonna really get, oh, excuse the language, fun. So these XLTs, night and day difference from the previous gen. You'll see a display up here, looks hot. That will change with all the drive modes and all the screens that you go in between. And then this screen up here is just home run. I mean, Ford, you really needed to do this. Everyone was saying you needed to do this. You know, you just took a couple years, but we're glad you caught up with everyone else, or especially, I guess, the Rams, because I was sick of my customers annoying me with that stuff. This is just a home run. This is the best infotainment system out there. Bar none. Maybe a Tesla can compete with this, but other than that, nothing else. It's super responsive. I mean, like I said earlier, you're not fighting technology, and you can really customize this. You can get all sorts of, you know, set all sorts of vehicle info to be a favorite on the screen. You can, you know, cycle in between, you know, like zone lighting from here, other different truck info graphs. Like, it's just out of this world. I love this. I love that Ford thought of a different way than just having a screen in the front, and they made it kind of useful. You can drag over, if you saw there. So navigation was on the right, and then some of the apps you can actually slide over to make full screen. And then most of the stuff, I mean, if you've had a Ford before, will kind of seem familiar. It's not like, I mean, it's same but different, but still same. You know what's here, but it's also, you know, just shiny, and it works better, and hopefully it lasts longer. Up here, camera button. I mean, look at this stuff. You got a halo of different cameras that you kind of see under the mirrors. There's the little cameras, so they stitch all those, the front, the back, and the side mirrors into one little display. I'm gonna kind of close the door here, and you'll kind of see there. So as you're backing up and stuff, I mean, it's a live feed. It's really cool. You can press these dials up here, go in between the front camera. You can see Mario making an appearance. Front 180, and I mean, this is a huge screen, guys. I mean, there's no excuses now. You can't hit nobody on this thing. You got sensors around it. I mean, it's got to be someone else's fault. You know, really, this thing is, I mean, it's really incredible how much tech these things have now. And you could just cycle from there. I'm gonna kind of try and put the seat back a little bit so I can show you what's going on here. So this dash, wow, you know, the gauges, you know, you like physical gauges, so Ford gives you the physical gauges, and then, you know, they tease you with some of the digital in the middle, and so you can just change on the fly just like the other truck, and you get this, you know, the little modes, you know, make you feel special. And they're all different, and they all feel different, and I found that to be super cool. Now, you know, I keep on going on tangents. You know, this is going to be a long video because I want to be thorough. I kind of want to get everything in there, and I'll put, you know, timestamps, of course. So, center console, USB and USB-C, just like the STX, but you actually have this whole, you know, this actually whole center console, you know, so, and it's totally redesigned. So, let's see here. You can see you have the shifter in the center, and I mean, this is completely new. You can press this button and hide it away. Like, what the heck? That is wicked. And then, you know, Ford didn't just stop there. Oh, they did stop there, at least on this one. I'm teasing you. So that there is a feature that I forget what the hell it's called, that you can basically fold over the center console and it turns into a like a desk of sorts. I'm saving that for last, I guess, because this one doesn't happen to have it. It's one of those knick-knack options, though. You know, most of them, you know, we'll probably order it from now on. We'll probably have that because it's like $100 or $200, you know. So it's a nice thing to have. Oh, and then before I really get out of place, this one does have the dual panoramic sunroof. I mean, what are we doing here, guys? This is the life. Hold on tight. The dream. Look at this stuff. You know, so all these guys hating on these trucks, they do not know what they are missing. All right. Back seat, obviously comfy as hell. I mean, what, you know, man, what the heck? They just have done such an incredible job. With the Lariat, kind of mentioned it earlier, not too different from the exterior, but you will get some nice additional features. So I want to show you what's going on with this bed, because there's a few optional things with these beds that are just out of control here. So on the key fob, you know, you got the release. So look at this, you know, just slowly releases. Thank you, Ford. Now, what else did they do? This freaking bed utility thing is just wowzers. You got, you know, rulers on there, a cup holder, you know, either like pencils or phones you can put down there to store it. The spray and bed liner is obviously super useful. And then here, now this is up to, looks like up to, this one happens to be up to 400 watts. But if I'm remembering from our training, there's going to be up to like 7,200 watts of power on board. With some of these, it's like basically a generator. So some of these F150s, you know, equipped, I mean, you know, over here, you'll see like 5 different outlets, not just this one. And I mean, that, guys, it's out of control. I mean, you can put, I mean, tailgating just went, you know, ballistic, and it's on another level now. Yeah, you can hook up everything, your power drill and your mini fridge, you know, like, come on. So over here, you push a button, tailgate step. So this is optional on all these trims. It's like 200, 250. So you really should, if you're ordering this thing, I mean, come on, man, it sells itself. You step on here and get easy access into the bed. I'm a huge chunker, and I'm already in the bed, man. And I'm holding a camera that it ain't light, guys. So, yeah, just super useful. So that isn't necessarily unique to Lariat. Some of the onboard, I imagine the levels to it are, you know, but the real distinctions with Lariat, let me put this down and you'll see these Lariats will have, hopefully I don't eat my words here, the electric tailgate. So let's try this out. Press it twice, and man, the first time I saw that, I don't want to tell you what happened in my pants. All right, that is just really freaking cool. I don't know if any other trucks have that stuff yet or now, but I mean, that is a flex, guys. That is a flex. Now, differences with these Lariats. So the people that are gonna get the Lariat, there's a few reasons if they're gonna get it. One, you know, some people, they have multiple drivers, they need to have memory seats. So Lariat and up are the only trims that have memory seats. Leather. So you can only get leather in the Lariat and up. So if you're looking at STX, no dice. If you're looking at XLT, no dice. If you really want leather, you have to be in a Lariat and up. So this leather, you can see, it has kind of like the little, I don't even know what you call it. It looks like it's been stabbed a million times. You know, the perforations, and, you know, obviously that comes with extra goodies. So you'll kind of see some extra buttons now in these Lariats. I'm going to turn this on. You'll see you have, now the blue lights are on, you have air-conditioned seats. So that's going to be for driver and passenger. But wait, the show goes on. There's more. The Lariats will also get, you got to get in here. Whoever was in here last was not the biggest. as I look at Mario, I'm so mean. All right, so here we go. Bang & Olufsen sound system. So I might have to use my cheat code or my cheat sheet here, but I think they said that this Bang & Olufsen was an 18 speaker, which is, guys, that's out of control. There's speakers everywhere. You just look around and you see speakers. And then obviously the screen and stuff, very similar to XLT. The center console, very similar. Lariats just kind of have like a few nicer like trim pieces. So this one, it kind of has the two-tone with the brown stuff, which obviously looks sick. And then kind of really going back to what I started talking about and then kind of ate my words. This one happens to have the work surface. So I'm going to kind of move this stuff out here. I put down my shifter. There's a little divot in here. Flick it up and out like that, and bam. I mean, you can eat to go. I mean, there's going to be a crisis, guys. I hope I don't get one of these things. I'm done. And then obviously everything else is kind of what you expect. This one has the sliding mirror in the back. So if you like that stuff, there's a button right up there, right here, for that mirror in the back. Very responsive. Oh, and you know what? I got caught as well with the small, with another difference, the screen. So instead of the partial LCD with the gauges, this is going to be a full LCD display. And another example of things that look hot in Ford, this is just a home run. You know, oh my God, look at this stuff. Really? Yeah, that's wild. Obviously you got the menu button here, so you can really get into different vehicle info, trip info, towing setups, all that stuff. And I mean, guys, I haven't even gotten into the safety stuff. This is like, I mean, these things, they're gonna have an over-the-air update soon. I mean, that's gonna be paid, but the things will basically drive itself, you know. So you pay, I think it's like $800 or something, and as long as you have one of these models with the safety stuff, I think it's like 360 Copilot 360 2.0. I mean, you guys got a Tesla truck. So, I mean, I haven't even touched on the engines. I mean, there's a lot of differences. We've seen, actually, all of these guys, I think, had the 3.5 that's out of the Raptor, besides that XLT. And I shouldn't say it's out of the Raptor. It's like the same block, tuned a little bit differently, but, I mean, it's a beast. And then the 2.7 that's in this XLT here, you have 400 horsepower. I mean, it moves. That's a very great engine. I don't know. A lot of people like to flack these EcoBoosts, and you know, they're pulling more, they're lasting a long time. We got plenty of customers driving them to the ground. So I hope you enjoyed this little tour of the 3 trim levels, STX, XLT, and Lariat. They're probably the most common that you'll see on your Ford lots, you know. And I wanted to show y'all because I think they did a great job. Now I'm going to be putting this on, I guess, my personal YouTube channel. That really, I don't, you know, Big Boy John, you know, so I guess we got our big boy army here. And, you know, I'm at Sawgrass Ford. I'm going to kind of put a plug. I guess I'll put my email either at the end of the video or whatever. Questions, blah, blah, blah. I've, you know, been doing this for a few years, and I kind of wanted to just show people, because I feel like there's a lot of people that come in, they don't really know what's going on. I mean, I don't know what's going on half the time, but you know, maybe this helps a little bit. And if there's something that you guys want to see in particular, if you think that like on these vehicles, because that's kind of what I have here, you know, at least it's a little bit dead now. The lot has been, you know what's going on lately, guys. But if there's something in particular you want to check out, let me know. I have access to pretty much every type of Ford, and we'll make it happen. So cheers, and thanks for watching. If you stuck along this much, arrivederci.